When Harley Benton 25 years ago set out to revolutionize the guitar market, the whole point was to give beginners and people looking for inexpensive instruments some features that usually they wouldn't find at that price point. Now, there's no doubt that they succeeded in doing that for well over 25 years, and they certainly have kicked up the bum a few guitar companies in the meantime. But as a company, where'd you go after that? What's your next step? Can you keep doing that when everyone just catches up to you? Well, the only way is really up, isn't it? So today, I think we're looking at something which no longer can be called a budget or kind of amateur guitar. This is a pro instrument. This is something that I think people will be proud to play on stage and record with. Let's do it. Okay guys, I'm back in the studio, so what are we waiting for? Let's look at Harley Benton's first attempt at a pro level instrument. Are you ready for this? Here we go. This is the Harley Benton ST Plus Modern. Beautiful, isn't it? So as usual with my videos, let's start by talking quickly about the specs and its unique features. And trust me, this one has a lot of them. So spec-wise, starting from the top, as you can see, wonderful, really nice locking tuners. Vintage style, but locking. They've nicely upgraded them with the Harley Benton logo here, and they just overall look very solid and feel very solid as well. So nice addition. You have a very, very cool, well-cut Graphtec nut, as always, with the most recent Harley Benton models. Graphtec nut is a must, as you guys know. Then moving down, we have an incredibly nice roasted maple neck. As you can see, really nice flame on it. Very, very nice color, feels very good. And a laurel fingerboard. Again, it looks really nice. At the back, as you can tell, they've upped their game as well with the barcode and all the details. So nice little touch, but the neck is really cool. One of the big things about this guitar are the 22 medium jumbo stainless steel frets. And for the first time in Harley Benton history, apparently they've got rounded edges, which let's check them out. Yes, they do. As you can see, they've got rounded edges. It's really cool that they finally got their finger out and decided to do rounded frets, because it does make a huge difference when you're playing to the feel, and it's a really nice addition to this already fully spec'd out guitar. Moving down to the body, you have a standard ST shape, very ergonomically designed with an American older body. Weight-wise, it's not light at all, but it's not heavy. It's just right in terms of a Strat style guitar. Oops, I said it. It just feels good, nothing to complain about. It's solid, that's the really nice thing. You have binding, single binding all along in a cream color on this model, and in this specific case, you have a flamed veneer on the top, and it's this kind of turquoise, ocean, whatever they want to call it. I'm not sure what they call it, but we don't care. It looks nice. It's nicely done. There's a nice joint here, but overall, the flame just adds that little bit of a premium feel to it. Then we move on to where all the magic happens, which is here. So this is a double single configuration in terms of pickups. And these are the Tesla pickups. These are Alnico 5 pickups. So they're not ceramic, they're Alnico. Good level Tesla pickups. And just before we move on, I've got to make a little disclaimer. I've never liked Roswell pickups in Harley Bentons. I don't know why. They always sound muffled. They always sound not great. There's something about Roswell pickups that doesn't sound quite right to my ears, at least, my setup, etc. Your mileage may vary, but Tesla, ever since I've tried them in some of the earlier Harley Benton models, I always thought they were a much better pickup. And these ones are very good. Spoiler alert, they're very, very good pickups. So good to see them on here. Oh, and guys, I forgot to say, just before we start the video, I just wanted to make something really, really clear. For this guitar and 90% of the other guitars and amps and pedals that I review, I bought them myself. The companies don't know who I am because I'm not anyone. So they do not give me anything special. And these guitars are bought anonymously, and I just show you really what it is to buy whatever product you're buying in terms of quality, what you get, and all the bells and whistles. No one here is telling me what to do, and it's just for your information. It's really important to remember that because there's a lot of crap out there, to be honest, and I don't want to be part of it. So let's keep going. Okay, so in terms of controls, then we have single volume, single tone. Bit unusual for a ST type guitar, but the tone control is push-pull. So you can split the Telsa humbucker into a single coil. You have a 5-position standard switch, which feels really, really good quality. I haven't had a chance yet to look inside, but you can tell that it's a better quality than what the inexpensive Harley Bentons have, because it makes the right noises and it feels solid. Then we come to one of the things that honestly kind of attracted me the most to this guitar. And what I'm talking about is the Babbage, I think I pronounced that right, full contact 2-point trem. So this is a real kind of upgrade. I love the Wilkinson trems that come on, for example, the Fusion series, etc. But I do feel that this is a big step up. These retail for about $130 if you get them separately. So if you think that this whole guitar costs $380, something like that, it's already a big part of that price. We'll go into more detail about how it feels later on in the video, but I've got to say, I'm really impressed with it. It's easy and smooth, nothing binds, really cool bridge. I haven't tried that many of these, but I am so impressed with this bridge. The whole point, for those that may not know, with the Babbage, anyways, with these bridges is that they are called full contact because they have much bigger pieces here where the string goes through the bridge, therefore making the vibrations, therefore enabling the guitar to resonate fuller with the body, not dampening the strings, for example, with some of those cheap ass bridges. And that's the whole point, is that it's supposed to increase sustain, make it sound better, etc., etc. So I'm really impressed. I don't know whether it actually does any of these things like increase sustain, blah, blah, blah. But just from a feel perspective, it feels fantastic. And it's a floating position right now, so I can go both up and down. Really, really good bridge. Finally, if we then turn the guitar around, you can see the standard kind of super Strat if you want, or modern Strat shape with the really comfortable neck carve. You can reach those higher frets so easily on these. Very nicely done. Nice tummy carve for those that have a tummy. And just overall, it's done really, really nicely. As we're talking about a pro instrument, we also need to inspect the QC and kind of the quality overall of the guitar. I can say that honestly, I've never seen Harley Benton produce such a good finish on a guitar. I've always had minor paint defects or teeny things that I could kind of see that they forgot to do something, sand something, or the paint was a bit dirty or something like that. This, absolutely perfect. Amazing QC on this. Even, kind of the danger areas around here, just perfect. The neck, as I said, is a masterpiece. Yes, they've added the rounded fret ends, which is super cool. But just overall, the neck carve and the feel of the actual roasted wood is incredible. It's fast, it's slinky, it just feels good, but it's not thin. It just feels fast to play and easy to play. Very, very nice. And you know what? You can tell that this was, I may be wrong and they may be completely cheating me, but you can tell that this is an actual roasted piece of wood, because often I get the suspicion that a lot of these companies, when they're offering really cheap roasted necks, it's not, yeah, maybe technically it might be roasted, but it's just put in the oven for 10 minutes or something and then painted over to get a deeper color. Just on the aesthetics, I've got to say, my personal issue, the only thing I would change, I really don't like this Harley Benton headstock. And they've had this forever, right? On all the fusions, etc. I just don't like this shape here. But except for that, I'm not going to complain. The guitar looks stunning. If you covered this, the logo, and just told me this was a 3000 guitar, just by looking at it, I'd actually believe you, because finish, really beautiful. So well done, Harley Benton. We are there in terms of, is this a pro level guitar? Would I have a problem playing this live or in the studio? No, because it looks fantastic. It looks really, really nice. Now, I think that's enough of me talking. Let's move on to some sound samples. So throughout this video, you heard this guitar in various little tunes, and that was done so you guys could hear it in a mix and see the kind of versatility and what this guitar could do. What I wanted to do now is just something really, really simple. No talking, just basically going through each combination of the pickup selector. So neck, middle, bridge, and bridge. And go distortion, clean, and crunchy sound. So you guys could hear exactly what this guitar sounds like. What I'm going to use in terms of amp is really simple. It's not an amp. I'm going to go from the guitar straight into my audio interface, into Reaper, and then just play with the 2 Notes Genome, which, PS, is a f***ing great plugin. One of the best plugins I've ever played. That's just a side note. So let's listen to it. As always, there's been no post effects, no EQ. There's no messing around with the sound, guys. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's just coming straight to you. I just want you guys to get just an impression of what this is, as if you were in the room with me. So let's do this, and then we will go on to who this guitar is for, pros and cons, what I think about it, and ultimately whether you guys should spend that little bit more, because it is a little more expensive than your normal Harley Benton price range, for this model. See you in a bit. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed those sound samples. Hopefully you got a good idea of what this guitar can do in all its various positions. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of pros and cons and final thoughts and all that, I just wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about who this guitar is for. So clearly here, Harley Benton have made a conscious effort to up their game. Harley Benton has been the number one choice for amateurs. Let's be honest, amateurs or people that wanted an inexpensive guitar to mod or just to play around, or for more experienced players, something that they wanted, but that wasn't really their main axe. Harley Benton, as we said in the intro, had a choice to make here. You keep doing that, but there's other brands coming up and other brands catching up with you and doing just as well. For example, Jet, for example, Vintage, all these brands are slowly catching up to the Harley Benton quality. And that's the truth. So the whole purpose of this is to go that one step forward and actually appeal, I think, to a more modern guitar player that doesn't give a crap whether it says Gibson or Fender up here, but wants the best specs available and is going to actually use it in a recording scenario, or if you're gigging, whatever it is. So kind of eliminate that need to upgrade or to modify, because this already has all the high quality components. And quite frankly, there's not a lot that I would change on this at all. Actually, I wouldn't change anything, to be honest. It covers all the bases, and I think it's really spot on for those guys. An intermediate player at the same time, someone who maybe is on his second, third guitar and doesn't want to get, another one of those guitars that he will have to eventually change in a little bit. Although us guitarists love changing guitars, don't we? Or if you see what I'm saying, something that the player won't find the need to actually upgrade. So again, intermediate, this is perfect. Now, if you're a beginner, obviously you need to consider the price factor. It's quite a bit more expensive. As I said, it's about $380, $350, depending if you get a B stock, non-B stock, etc. So you're really on the highest range of Harley Bentons. Now, the thing to say, if you're a beginner, maybe best off start with a cheaper model, because you don't know if you'll keep playing it or not. So maybe it's not the best choice for a beginner. But at the same time, if you're a beginner and 100% sure that you're going to play guitar for a long time and can afford it, whatever, if you've got the cash, do it. This is a guitar to dream of, quite frankly, because it's easy to play, stays in tune, beautiful neck. I mean, the action, perfect, really, really good for a beginner. Honestly, I would have killed for this guitar, literally killed someone for this guitar 20 years ago. It may not be necessarily aimed at the beginner, but if you got the cash, do it. Why not? And then if you decide you don't want to play it anymore, sell it, because this still, despite the name on the headstock, will have a good resale value, I think, because it has good components and people that actually know will be looking for these. So it's not a bad choice for a beginner either. Okay, let's now get down to the coolest part of this video, which is the pros and cons. I always start with the pros because I'm a very positive kind of guy. Got it? So, pros. I mean, you've got to go with the specs. The specs of this guitar are unbelievable. I've played so many guitars overall in my life because of this channel and just because that's what I do. And I've got to say, everything here is highest level that I've played. The frets with the addition of the rounded fret ends, what an amazing job on these. The tuners, these are very nice. They work perfectly. For me, you can't have a modern guitar like this without locking tuners. It's a must. It makes restringing easier. It holds better tune. Really, really good. The graphite nut, again, it's a must. Bone is great, but graphite is just as good. And again, very well cut. That's the most important thing. If you put your finger on it, the action, the nut is fantastic. It's super well cut. Well done, Harley Benton. Seriously on this. Action, again, this is straight out of the box. I have not done a single thing to this guitar, and it's got super low action. No fretting, nothing. The pickups sound very good. They are slightly higher output. They're not vintage pickups, so they're a lot more modern, but it makes sense because with the ability to coil tap the bridge pickup, you need something slightly higher output because otherwise the single version of it will sound way too weak. These Tesla pickups are really well balanced. It's a very rich combination with loads of variety. I'm not much of a middle pickup guy, but this one even sounds great. So it is a very good set as a whole. And again, if you get these aftermarket, it does costs a fair chunk of money. So, you're talking about a good level pickup here. Then controls obviously really good. But the star of the show, as I said, for me, and the biggest pro of this guitar, undoubtedly the Babbage full contact trem. This for me is I was going to say game changer, but it's such a good trem. I love it. I really love it. Some people have said they have issues palm muting. I don't personally. I don't see why you would. But I've got no issues palm muting. It's such a comfortable trem. Even with your hand on it, everything is round. So it doesn't stick out, doesn't poke out. The action, the way it can float like this, so you can pull up, down. It has a decent block at the back. The springs are very nice, quite silent. I've heard no rattling. And in conjunction with the graphite nut, honestly, one of the best tuning stabilities on a trem guitar I've ever seen. So you have to consider the full picture when you're talking about tuning stability, but this bridge, top. I love this bridge. I would love to get this on some of my other guitars. So those are the main pros for me. The components, the neck, electronics, bridge, tuners, everything is really well done. The body and the aesthetics, I can kind of leave or take, to be honest. This style guitar is not my favorite overall. I like something with a little more balls. I like something that has slightly more attitude. But overall, it's really clean, classy. It looks good. So that's a very easy kill. They've done a really good job on the aesthetics of the guitar. Everything is really well thought out. But let's move on to the maybe less good things. And to be honest, there's not a lot. You probably gathered by now. I don't really have any major issues with this guitar. There's a few little things that I'm perplexed by, but overall, no major issue here. So, one of the really confusing things, and I've got to say, maybe it's just mine, and maybe it's just whatever guitar you purchase, that's the one that has this or not, whatever it is. But if you look at the fret ends, I found that there is a substantial difference between the high side of the fretboard and the low side in terms of the rounded fret ends. So on the high side, they are immaculate. They are really beautiful, very nicely rounded. They come in from the fretboard, so very comfortable. You don't feel them at all. They come in, they're rounded, what you expect from a rounded fret end, and done really, really well. Now, if you move on the bass side, they are, dare I say, rounded, but way less than the high side. Now, I don't know if that's by design or if that's just, as I said, on this guitar, but there is a substantial difference. Even by looking at the fretboard, you can tell that on the bass side, they come way higher up to the edge compared to the treble side. So it's just one of those things. It doesn't actually annoy you when you play because you've got a different kind of feel on the two sides, but it's just an odd thing. Again, might be a QC issue. It might be just this one and the other ones are fine. I mean, let me know in the comments if you guys have the Modern Plus, if it's the same. If it's done on purpose, it's a bit weird because how much time would have they saved to not do this? I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't affect anything. It's just a consideration. The other thing, and maybe I'm going to start a shitstorm now, but if you look at some of those videos on YouTube where people review this guitar, and mainly the guys that get sponsored reviews, right? Their flame on the neck is enormous. So they have like some pure like tiger stripes on their neck. Now, This is a beautiful neck. You can see it has some nice movement. You can see here the flame is nice. It kind of shimmers, but it's no way as extreme as the ones you see on some of those YouTube channels. I don't know. Were those selected specifically for those channels? Maybe. It makes sense. Obviously, Thomann would want to give the YouTubers they pay the best examples of the finish. But this one, I was maybe slightly disappointed not to see that enormous flame that all the other guitars that I saw reviews on YouTube had. Look, it's nothing at all. I really don't care. I don't give a crap about how the neck looks, quite frankly. And I love the little imperfections here. You see these stripes. I like this kind of stuff. But just to know that some of the other YouTubers got better necks, and I'm sad. No, I'm not. I don't care. But in case you guys purchase this guitar expecting that kind of flame, I'd be a bit wary, because I've got my suspicion that a lot of them will be very different one to the other. So you're not going to get a standard kind of neck flame here. So just one to note. And that's about it on the cons. This is a great guitar. That's all I've got to say. It's a pro guitar. Oh, and before I forget, another really bizarre thing. Again, I don't give a crap. But for this specific model, and I don't know if any other ones had it, but as far as the ones I've tried, the Fusion, the MR, all the other models I've tried, the SC, whatever it's called, the single cut one, they've all specified the country of origin of the guitar. This one doesn't. Again, I don't know if it's particular. There is this barcode here, but I've actually tried scanning it, but it doesn't work. I don't know. I just find it, even on the product page of the guitar, it doesn't actually say where it's built. Just find it a bit weird, as they've always done it before. Why wouldn't they do it for this one? Who knows? Anyway, let's move on. Okay, guys, so it's time for my final thoughts and my just overall opinions of this guitar. I think, look, this is, as I said, 380 bucks. So you are verging on that kind of intermediate price range, right? Not really low, not high. It's still sub, 500, sub 400 bucks. This is an incredibly spec guitar. If you think about the maths, obviously, if you add the price of the pickups with the price of the trem, with the price of the locking tuners, with the price of the Graphtec, not stainless steel frets, round, it doesn't add up, right? It's way more than 380 bucks, but that is Harley Benton's model. Mass production, they get massive orders, lower the price, simple economics. So I think in those terms, it's a steal, because you get really, really good components. We're talking top class components here. The guitar overall is fantastically built. The roasted neck, brilliant. It's a very solid professional guitar. Again, I would have no problems now gigging with this. I think the difference is with this that every single Harley Benton that I've had up to now, I've liked, actually. A lot of them I've liked. A lot of them I haven't, but a lot of them I have. But I always thought they were a bit rough. There were some areas that were a bit rough around the edges. You could see that it was a cheap guitar. Even if you kind of spec'd it out and upgraded it, at the back of your mind, you could still kind of tell that it was an upgraded guitar and it didn't start out that way. This one has just gone way over that. So as I said earlier, there's no need to upgrade here. This is the final product, and this is a guitar that you should be proud to play in the studio, play live, play whatever. I honestly didn't know what to think when I bought it, but I am so surprised. I'm definitely going to keep this. It just feels like they brought all that knowledge, all those little criticisms that everyone's had on Harley Benton, and just brought it together. So really impressed with this. Definitely worth a look. As always, guys, please let me know your thoughts below. Have you guys played this? Have you played the Fusions? Just as a final word, for me, this is miles better than the Fusions. Way better. It comes in different finishes. Just the feel and the quality of this guitar is way better than those. So let me know. Let's have a conversation. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think about this guitar. Would you spend $400 on a Harley Benton? I think that's the ultimate question. Just look at the specs, look at the quality that you're getting, and this is a really good purchase. So as always, thank you all for watching. I do really appreciate it. Keep those comments going. It really helps the channel because I tend to buy all the gear that you guys see, because again, I'm doing this to give you guys an honest and unfiltered view of what these products, whether guitars, amps, pedals, etc., are, with no BS, no underlying motives other than trying to get you guys to view the videos and hopefully help you make a better decision or a more informed decision. This is a community, so if you guys specifically want me to review something, want me to look at something, I'll do it. Just drop me a comment and I'm on it. So thank you again, guys. Be nice to each other and be good, play guitar and enjoy this wonderful world we're in. See you later.